Hello, everyone. This is Kedar, and I have my colleague with me today, well, Lee. We will be doing this webinar jointly. So this webinar is going to be, we will be focusing on how you can use EzzyBills software for efficient bookkeeping as to and this is primarily we have designed for bookkeepers who deal with a lot of clients. The number of invoices are usually high. They come in once a month, and then you got to process everything really quick. And you really need to find the fastest way to do this. So this is specifically designed for those people, for those bookkeepers. We're going to show you how you can, especially for Xero users and QuickBook users, we're going to show you how you can use the EzzyBills software, configure it in best fashion to use it with Xero and QuickBooks so that all the invoices that you want to process are reviewed, approved, or either sent to the respective stakeholders for approval. And then they are approved, and then they are in your accounting system waiting to be paid for the supplier. Yeah, so that's the first part, and that part will be covered by my colleague Lee, who's with me.
Thank you,
Thank
Kira.
you. Yeah.
So this is the HQ page. You will have multiple clients, and you can just easily switch to another client. So I'm not just looking at my main client. By default in EzzyBill, so if you have clients using Xero, we recommend you just use our default setting. Basically, when you upload a bill to EzzyBill or a receipt, we will process them directly to Xero with the status of a draft. And that's what we recommended for document upload. Generally, we recommend for your client to upload the document on the go. Basically, whenever they see the document come through, for example, if most of their invoices are received in their email, so whenever they see an invoice coming through, they should just immediately forward to EzzyBill, so that way they don't really have to wait for a long time and to do it. And if they have a paper receipt, after they got the receipt, and they can just scan using EzzyBill mobile app. And if they happen to lose a receipt after that, so it doesn't matter, it's already captured. So that's on the uploading side of a thing. So we recommend to do it whenever it comes through. In terms of we for EzzyBill to process them, for Xero users, we recommend to using the default setting to export to draft. So I'm going to go to Xero and to show you. So if you go to business, under bill to pay, you would have this folder, and this is the draft folder. So if we export into a draft folder, and then you will be able to come and approve it. And so I'm going to show you what's the easiest way to do it. And for some people, for some of the supplier invoice, they process a lot. They know EzzyBill always get it right. So you can go into here, you can click multiple, and just simply say approve here. If you do need a management approval, you might just click this pattern. So it's in Xero, you can bulkily approve them very quickly. And that's for the supply, which you, from the past history, EzzyBill always get right. You don't have to worry, you can do that. But if for a new supply or a lot of supply, they don't have an invoice coming often, so you can just go in the draft, you can start from the top. So as a account admin, or you are the bookkeeper for a company, you probably don't need to come here all the time. It depends on how many documents they process a month. For smaller companies, if you have say 50 a month, you might can come, once a month. For a company which has a lot of bills and receipts, invoices, and you probably can come, once a week or once every 2 weeks. So once you come through, you will see how many documents here. You can just go from the top or click the first one. And for Xero, Xero will display uh, the original document on the left, and then there's a data, so you can quickly see everything. And once you're happy, you just can click approve and view next. And the next one will just come up in a few seconds. So you can just repeat this. For EzzyBill, we put everything really for you. We have a account code automated based on your Xero history. Also depend on the supplier setting in Xero. So we get everything done. If you want to modify, and if the supply name you want to modify, or account code you want to modify, and you can just modify here. And EzzyBill has automatic learning, so we does that once a week. We will say what changes you made in your Xero, and then we'll make changes. So if you need changes, you just quickly change here and then just go approve next. So if you have 50 bills and waiting for approval, you can, probably done it within 20 minutes or half an hour, and then it's done. So once the draft folder had nothing to handle, so this cycle for your work is finished. Um, for smaller company, which don't have many bills and receipt, you can export all the purchases as bill, even though it might be a receipt. So the owner of the company probably don't need you to pay the bill. They know which bill to pay. So you can put a receipt in as a bill as well. And then when the bank fee comes through, Xero will automatically match it, and then it will finish the whole cycle of bookkeeping. For a larger company, you probably want to separate the bill and receipt. For receipt, we can process as a spend money transactions. So I'm not going to go into detail of that. Another thing what I want to talk about is Xero contact data. This is one of the Xero contact. In this example is Bunnings Group Limited. That's a contact name. We use the Xero contact data to match the supply. So in order for us to match supply very accurately, and we do a lot of things, so the success rate is really high. Today I recommend to put the Xero contact data. What the data are the information we actually use. For example, contact name, and we recommend you to use same name as on the invoice. If there is some variation for some reason, you had to use a different variation of the name, and that's also fine. So what we recommend is you put your supply AB number here. because the AB number is quite unique, once we find it on the invoice, we can match 100% right. There's other supplier data you might want to put. For example, purchase account code. If for a supplier, you always use this account code, you can put it here. Another thing is tracking. If you want to EzzyBills to use tracking data, we have many ways to determine the tracking data. But if for a particular supplier, you always use the same tracking data. For my Xero file, I have 2 tracking categories, jobs and machine. So if I put them in here, and then EzzyBills will use it when we process this supplier's invoice. So the information here is not compulsory, so you don't have to put them there. It's just we recommend if for particular supplier you notice, for example, if the supplier name, sometimes we're not sure which one it is, and in that situation, and then you will go into your client Xero, modify their supply data. So next time we will have more data to match, and we'll get it right. So that's for Xero. And EzzyBills also is fully integrated with MYOB and QuickBooks. And we also integrated with many job and inventory software. And just particularly for MYOB and QuickBooks, and they don't have a staging bill status like a draft. For example, in QuickBooks, when we export a bill to QuickBooks, so they all sit in the same locations. In this, because that it's difficult to know which one you have reviewed, which one you haven't. So in that's because that, and we recommend you to put a setting, change a setting. And this is a default setting. There is no approval. For QuickBooks and MYOB, we recommend you to put an approval on. Just one level is sufficient. And then just click a save setting. So with this change, when a document comes to EzzyBills, we will not export directly to your accounting software. We'll wait for you to approve. So my colleague, Kata, will talk to you a lot about the detail of approval. So basically, for the recent document, you can see them from here, from the past document, and we will not export to accounting software until you go in there and approve. EzzyBills has put a lot of effort in the last 6 months to make this approval and easy for you. And we try to make it, you basically can approve everything from the supply to invoice number, all the way to account code. And so once you approve here, and you don't have to go into MYOB and the QuickBooks to look at them anymore. And so now I finished my part. I'm handing over to my colleague, Kata.
Thank you, Lee. That was quite detailed explanation, and I'm sure most of the attendees now would be happy to know that information. And we have one simple question here. So a customer asks, does EzzyBills use supplier card information from MYOB as well?
Yes, we use MYOB card information in the same way we use Xero contact. So in MYOB, we recommend you to put the supplier ABN, and also in MYOB, you can put purchase default account code. In QuickBooks, it's slightly different. So if anyone asks, you can go find some in our website or talk to us.
Okay, I hope, Jenny, I hope we have answered your questions. And or to all the attendees, if you have any questions or any queries, feel free to pop them in the chat. Either me or Lee would be happy to assist you. So I see a few hands raised here as well. Could you, if you could just please pop it your questions in the chat, we would be happy to answer those questions. All right, so moving forward, the next that brings us to my part, which is the approval dashboard. So I will straight take you to your approval dashboard. Let's go to EzzyBills. So to go into your approval dashboard screen, you will click on search approve, and then you will click on all my approval. You can see the search approve screen has quite a few filters here, show all, waiting approval. So these are different stages the invoices go through when it comes into EzzyBills, depending on what your workflow is. Now you can filter stages wise as well. Now, if you have approvals, there will be invoices which will come and wait in the waiting approval. If you have fixed approvals wherein you have settings configured for any invoice that has come in, it will automatically be sent to approval. Then it's email approval. So it will be waiting on email approval. So all these functions and features you can find in search approve. You can also find the documents in search. This is quite extensive search. You can see this for the first invoice. I have quite a few details here, like what's the invoice number, PO number, supplier, the total amount of the invoice, and the tax amount. You can use all this information to or all any of this information to find this particular invoice. For example, if I want to find invoices from Hills Fresh supplier in my EzzyBills, I will come into search approve. I'm going to put my supplier name here. I'm going to hit search. It's going to show me all the previously uploaded supplier invoices of that supplier. You can also search by invoice number, total, and tax. All right. So you see these all options are on the left, and on the right, we see this button, all my approval. As of now, we will just click on all my approval. As soon as we click, it's going to open the approval dashboard, which Lee just spoke about, and she did say, she did speak a few things. I will focus much on the details. So as you can see, the screen, this dashboard is split into 3 different sections. The first section is on the left, where you can see all the list of all the invoices that have came into EzzyBills and they are waiting for approval. The section 2 is the mid section, where you will see EzzyBills displaying you the original PDF that was uploaded to EzzyBills. And then the right section, the third section, it will show you all the details that EzzyBills has extracted from the invoice. And then even this in the section number 3, where EzzyBills is showing you all the details, the first section is supplier, like key details of the invoice. Like you can see there is supplier, PO number, invoice number, date, total, and tax. Now, depending on what you need, you can simply go ahead with the choice. For example, if you are a bookkeeper and you just want to review the invoices and get those invoices in your connected accounting software as quick as possible, it doesn't need management approval. So you will simply come here, you will have a look at the PDF, the totals are matching, the tax is matching, supply is correct. Boom, you go straight approve. As soon as you approve, invoice will be approved, and then it will be proceed to the next stage. If the next stage is export to Xero, it will be exported to Xero or QuickBooks, whichever. If you need management approval, and if you are in a process wherein you're managing the review, like it's your responsibility to check all the data is correct before you send it for the managerial approval. Now you can do that from this screen as well. For example, let's say you've come to this invoice, you've checked everything, you check everything. This is a Bunnings invoice. You check everything. You do a few changes, like you correct the PO number, and then you correct the invoice number, and then you assign account code. Let's say I want to assign cost of goods sold. So I can just I can just start to type it, COS, and you will see that EzzyBills is showing you the options. And these options, this list will be coming from your connected accounting software. So I select cost of goods sold. Now, and then if you have a tracking, you can also type in that, you can assign that as well. Now this invoice is, I feel as a reviewer, I feel this invoice is correct, all the information is correct, and then now it's ready to be sent to managerial approval, and you want to send it onto email, you can do that from just this screen. First thing you will do is you will save all the changes. You see the save button on top right. You're going to click save. Now, this will save all the changes that you have done to this invoice, and then to send it to the manager, all you need to do is you click not for me. As soon as you click not for me, it's going to show you a box, and then it will ask you to choose an approver. Now, if you have previously done this, you will see a drop down from where you can choose the email address. If it's completely new, you're going to do it for the first time, you might want to just copy paste the manager's email address. As of now, I will just select one of these. You can type, you can copy paste. However, although you can type, it is recommended that you copy paste it from your email or from your contacts to avoid the typing errors. Because once it's set, it's quite difficult to change it to the right. We can do it. You can get in touch with support if in case it happens. Get in touch with support, and we will do it for you. But yeah, so you can copy paste it here, click OK, and then boom, the invoice has been sent for approval. That invoice has been sent to that manager, that email address you specified for approval. And then you can continue with the next invoice, so on and so forth. So using this screen, your approval process or review process is going to be so much faster that even if you have about 50 invoices at one time in the list, it should not take you more than 15 minutes if you're using this screen, because all your invoices are in one drop down. Everything is coming in one screen. Your supplier data, your account codes, your tracking, your approvals, you can do everything from just this one screen. Francisco, I see your question, and that's a really good question. So we have a good question here. It says, can you adjust multiple lines in the approval? If you have multiple lines on the invoice, can they send them to different account codes in the approval? That's a very good question, and I was going to come to that question only. So yes, so EzzyBills, so we have this functionality, we are developing this functionality. It's released, but it's still in beta phase, wherein you can click on show table. I will go to Bunnings invoice. All right, so you can go here in show table. And then for this is for those who so for bookkeepers, essentially, most of them will be, just most of their concern would be getting correct total and getting tax correct, which EzzyBills does 100%. But however, some would still be managing the line items and the item codes and the inventory. So for those, you can use the table option. You can click on show view table, show table, and then it's going to show you what EzzyBills has extracted, the item code, the description, totals, and everything. Now in here, you can assign different account code and different tracking to each and every line if you need to, right? For each line, you are able to assign a different account code and a different tracking. And then once you've selected everything, you just hide the table. That's it. And now you have done all the changes. Now you can save it. So all the changes will be saved, and then use not for me if you want to send it for someone else for approval. If you yourself are the approver, after you have done all the changes, simply hit approve. That's all you need to do. Show table will be great. Looking for, oh yes, Jenny, this feature is already released and you guys can use it as we speak. So yeah, feel free to try it, and yeah, it should do good. Okay, so the last but not the least is about the formats. Now, some people use small screens and some people use big screens. Now, if someone who's using a screen like me, you're happy with the format as is. But if you are using a smaller screen, we also have given you the choice to select between two different layouts. First one is this layout, and you see this small icons just to the right of the save button. So the first layout is default layout. If you want to change it, you want to make it bigger, you can simply click on the second little box here. That's gonna change the layout. Now you can see the list on the left and then the invoice in your whole screen. You can print it if you want to print it from here. And then if you scroll down, you will see all the details. If you're using the table option, I will recommend this view because in this view, it's much easier to do all the changes. You can also add lines. You can also delete lines. You can split invoice, everything you want to do, you can do it here. And once it's done, just simply go to top, approve or save, depending on your choice. All right, so I've explained this quite in detail. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer any questions. Lee, we have one question here which says, can we search ABN, search for ABN in the search screen? Sometimes it picks another name from the ABN. I don't think we can search. I'm really confused as to when you say picks another name from the ABN. Well, it would be best if you could just send us that doc ID, and then we'll look into it for you. So every invoice that is uploaded onto EzzyBills will create a doc ID for it. You will be able to see it here, the doc ID, and you will also be able to see it in the dashboard where you see these tiles in the left. So if any errors or any such unexpected things come across your way when you're testing or using EzzyBills, simply send it to our email address. I was showing it before. This is the one, support@ezzytalk.com. Send us the doc ID, and then we shall look into it. Well, I have one more question from here. So users asking, if I only want to prepare the invoice for approval, but then it has to go to two different people for approval, how can I send it to both for approval? Well, in the next section, when I'm going to talk about EzzyBills settings, I will explain where the approval option is, how you can do it. It's definitely possible. And just an add-on, EzzyBills supports up to 5 levels of approvals. So even if you want a particular invoice to go to number 1, then number 2, then number 3, then number 4, then number 5, we support that. It's what we call customized workflow and custom approvals. We support that. And for that, we just need to get in touch with support, and we would be happy to configure that for you. Oh, it's quite simple. So you've how you get to this approval dashboard from EzzyBills. So let's say I'll show it to you again. So we are on this dashboard, right? You go on search approve. And after you click on search approve, you get quite a few options here. These are different filters you can search. To the right, you have this button which says all my approval. Charmaine, if you can hear me, it says on the right, you have this button. You just need to click on this one, and then it will take you to the approval dashboard screen. Okay, so we will move forward with the session. The next point is the newly enrolled, newly published feature, which is set account code. So I will first show you from where you can enable it and disable it. So you go into settings, and by default, when you click on settings, EzzyBills brings you onto the account settings page. So there are 3 different options here. Account settings is the first option. approvals and expenses is the second option, and advanced option is the third option. So for this set account code feature, you will click on the second option, which is approvals and expenses. And there was a question before as to if you want to send it to two people for approval. I will answer just after I show you this one. So in approvals and expenses, the first option that you see is enable approval workflow. Now you can tick enable approval workflow, and then after you have ticked it, you can select which one you want. If you want single level, which means only one person will approve it. If you want two level, which means two people can approve it. And remember, if you want to invoice approval screen, invoice approval dashboard, and you are just preparing the invoice for approval, you're just making the changes, you're setting the account code, tracking, you're mentioning any comments, everything, you're using the save option, and then you're sending it to manager. That is just one approval, right? So you can use save, you can use not for me and send it to your manager. That is still single level because approval is just one. You're using the approval dashboard to save. That's you just reviewing it. It does not count it as approval. It's review. And if you want to send it to two different people, you can select two level, and then it goes to two different people. And about the set account codes, you can see just below level 2 approval email, you have set account codes before approval. If you want to turn it on, you simply tick this little box here, and then you click Save Settings, the blue button that you see in the right corner. It is very important to click the Save Settings button to ensure that the settings have been saved. How will you cross-check if you have turned it on? Well, there is the way to cross-check is you can simply go to any other page, dashboard or any other page, come back to the settings, and as soon as you come back, the box should be ticked. If it's ticked, that means it's turned on. Now, what it does is EzzyBills, before making invoice ready for approval, before even invoice comes to this stage, EzzyBills will check the invoice history. And based on the invoice history, the account code option will be pre-filled for you. It would look like something like this. As soon as you click on invoice, you will you will see that the account code option has been pre-filled with an account code from your invoice history for this supplier. And then it's, of course, it's your choice. It's not that it's pre-filled so you can't change it. It's nothing like that. It's your choice. If you think that's the correct one, EzzyBills is selected, let it be. If you think you want to select a different account code, you can just go ahead, type the category name, or start typing, you will see the list and you can choose a different account code, and then you can hit save. So that's the new feature, set account code before approval. It's very useful when you're using email approvals, right? So if you're using EzzyBills dashboard, well, you might spend a couple of seconds to just select the account code. But when you're automating your business and you want to automate as much as possible, and emails are straight away going to managers for approval, then this feature comes in very handy, where we will preset the account codes, and then manager just has to check everything's fine and approve it, and the invoice will be in your accounting system in no time. Okay, so yep, I would like to entertain questions. If you have any more questions, please feel I do have a few questions here. So Jenny is asking, we were finding that supplier was sometimes incorrect or creating a random number. So in this dashboard, I can correct this. Absolutely, yes. In review, you can pretty much correct everything, and then EzzyBills will just follow the supplier that you select, the account code that you select, the tracking that you select, and then it will export it to the to your Xero or to your QuickBooks or to your MYOB. Especially in case of MYOB, where Lee has already mentioned it. I'll just reiterate it again for some people who have joined us maybe later that part. So in MYOB, you're not able to change the supplier. So it's very essential and it's very handy if you can set the supplier in EzzyBills when you're using the review approval layer, and then it goes to MYOB. So you don't have to worry about changing supplier in your MYOB or reprocess that invoice.
Um,
So how do I return from
uh,
the approval screen to dashboard? Well, it's quite simple. As soon as your job's done here, you just close the screen. You just close the tab. You don't need that tab. If you want to open it again, you will just go to search approve and open that again. When you'll do the changes, you'll do review. Once all the invoices is done, you simply close it. Simple. Yes, Lee?
um, just regarding Jenny's question,
Mhm.
so if we read a supplier ABN and then we can't find a match in your accounting software, such as Xero or MYOB or QuickBook, so what we do is we use the ABN lookup to find the supplier. Often the supplier probably have many different names. If we choose the the one you don't want to use, and that's fine. So if we already export to Xero or MyOp or QuickBooks, so you can use a function called merge a supplier. Once you merge the new supplier we created to the existing one you want to use, and everything, all the bill go to that supplier will be automatically merged as well. So, so the merging supplier is really handy. If already the bill already sent to your accounting software. Another thing what you do is for the supplier you want us to use, you just put in the AB number. In Xero would be a Xero contact. In MyOb would be MyOb card, and also in QuickBooks you can do the same thing. Um, so yeah, once you've done that, next time it will be correct.
Okay, so we have a question here from Stephen. How to have second approver has the ability to modify approved invoices, or do they need to have a second paid subscription that is two staff in one business office? Hope that makes sense. All right, that absolutely makes sense, Stephen. So EzzyBills business model is, and there was one more question. The answer is quite similar. So Arslan is asking, can we have multiple workflows, one that goes to Xero, other that goes to Simpro, different approval conditions? To both your questions, I will answer yes. It is supported in EzzyBills. So for the subscription one, EzzyBills is you just need one subscription for unlimited approvers or unlimited users. And you can have those invoices to be sent to each level, and all the functions and features that we just saw on the All My Approval screen, these all features, they are available to all the approval levels. So if in EzzyBills you can review, if you send it on to email, you will have the same features and same options, and you're not paying anything extra for it. It's included in your subscription. So all the staffs at all the levels of approvals will have this functionality. If level one has added someone, level two, since he's the managerial level, he can change or override the information that is added by level one as well. So you get all that functionality. Coming back to Osman, so see what you've spoken is pretty standard setup that our Simpro customers use. They have all the Simpro related, materials related, contractor related, project related invoices go to the Simpro account, and then they have a Xero or MyOb or a QuickBooks to manage their overheads that goes to a different account. These two are different accounts, but they are clubbed in one. So you still need one simple subscription. Based on the features, you might be looking at different packages of the subscription based on workflows. Like usually you get 2 to 3 workflows, but with Simpro, you might need 4 or 5 or 6. It's all possible. It's all supported. The best way to try would definitely be just go ahead with the trial. EzzyBills offers 1 month long trial, and it's quite straightforward. So you can just go to our website, EzzyBills.com. You will see 30 days free trial. We're going to give you 1 month long free trial. And during the trial, you get the enterprise. There will be an account manager for you. You will get the enterprise level support. We will be with you to set up your Simpro workflows, to set up your Xero workflows, to set up your account, to set up rules. Everything will be done by EzzyBills. When we do a meeting with you, we usually do a screen share meeting to get the requirements and then configure it for you, and then you can start using it. And after 30 days, you decide if you want to continue. If you want to continue, then you buy a subscription. If not, it's all right, not a problem. Um, okay, so moving to the next section of the webinar is EzzyBills Basic Settings Explained. So I will take you to the settings. I'm quite sure most of you would be already aware of most of the settings, but I thought let's do a quick recap of the settings. So in settings, you have three different categories. First one is account related. Second one is approvals and expenses related. Approvals and expenses is where you will manage your approvers, your spend money transaction settings, your employee expenses settings, and then we have advanced. We usually recommend our customers to not go into advanced settings unless they go to our user guides and they have read through. So I'll quickly show you the user guides. So in EzzyBills website, you can go on to learn and support. As soon as you put your mouse cursor over learn and support, it's going to open a brief tab. You can select the specific option that you're looking for, or you can simply click on user guides. It will take you to a comprehensive knowledge base, user guides. It has everything: Xero, QuickBooks, MYOB, custom workflows, Simpro. Depending on what you're looking for, you can go in it, you can read it, and then once you've read it, well, then definitely you can go in advanced and customize it as per you want it using the guides. We promote that as well. But if you're just trying it randomly, we would rather tell you to come to us and just call us, so or just send us an email, and we would be happy to configure it for you. So quickly, account settings. So as you can see, the first one says reload data from your accounting software. It's a button. You can click it. What it does is it simply reloads the fresh data or the changed data from your accounting software. EzzyBills automatically does it for you, but it happens once in 7 days. So if you have done any changes in your Xero, like you have added new suppliers, you added new products, you want to add new account codes or categories, or in Xero or in QuickBooks or in MYOB, we recommend to come here, hit this button, so all those changes are saved in EzzyBills and you use it for your upcoming invoice exports. Rest is pretty much self-explanatory, like time zone, you can select it. ABN and company name are crucial. So sometimes what happens, a company uses multiple trading names or different ABNs, and different ABNs can pop up on invoice. So if you put your ABN numbers here with a comma separate, and if you put your company names here with a comma separated, for example, name one, comma, name two, like that, then when EzzyBills is scanning and extracting your invoice, EzzyBills knows this name is your company name, so it does not take that, it ignores that, and it goes to find your supplier's name. Same goes for ABN. If it finds an ABN, it knows this is your ABN, and then it goes to find supplier's ABN. Um, this is quick mobile configuration. So if you click on this link, email me the EzzyBills mobile how to, we email you a PDF which has detailed instructions of how can you connect your app, EzzyBills app, and how can you use it. Going forward, these are quite a few upload aliases. You can go through them, you can try them: sale invoice, special upload email address, purchase order, special upload email address. Coming down, we have subscription. Here is where you will find all your subscription details when you bought the last subscription. If you want to email yourself, if you want a copy of the invoice of your subscription, you can go in purchase history, click email me, you will get a copy. You can monitor your usage in subscription and so usage. Now to the customer, to the people attending webinar today, which are new to EzzyBills, I will quickly tell you why usage is important. Is because EzzyBills does not the business model of EzzyBills does not charge you for the number of companies you have or for the number of users you have like other companies. Now we don't do that. What we have is quite simple. We have subscription plans, different subscription plans. Well, if you've trial account, you can just go into buy section to see different plans that we have got, right? And each plan will come with 1 year validity and certain features and a certain document quota. Now, when you come to EzzyBills, you do the testing, and then you realize that the features that are there already are enough for you as is. You don't need much of a customizations. You don't have any special requests. So you just need extract and export. So you can just look at the quota, the number of documents that you're going to use. So different plans give you a different quota, right? That's all you're looking at. But if you have a more specific requirement, as Austin was saying, the Simpro workflows, customizations, custom approvals, rather all that stuff, then you're looking at the features like where you get custom approvals, unlimited approvals, you get free training, onboarding, stuff like that. So that's the thing to keep in mind. And hence, for the small plan users, you can monitor your usage here. Then we come to miscellaneous settings. So it's quite self-explanatory again. By default, we have these settings off. You can turn it on if you want. So auto separate if you click. So what happens if you are in a process, your bookkeeper, your client comes to you and gives you 50 paper invoices. There you go. These are my monthly invoices. Then what do you do? Well, you can either enter that manually or you can just scan those 50 all in one, mix one PDF file, and then you upload it into EzzyBills. You just turn this feature on, the auto separate on, save settings, and then you upload it. Once you upload it, EzzyBills will go through that PDF file. It will separate all the 50 invoices. Those will be processed as separate 50 invoices, and then it will be counted as 50 documents. One invoice is counted as one document. So that's what auto separate does. If you don't want to use this functionality, simply turn it off, save settings. The next important one is check for duplicates. Now, if you turn the check for duplicates setting on, EzzyBills will, right after it exports the invoice into your connected accounting software, immediately after it checks if there is a similar invoice with same supplier, same amount present in your accounting system, same invoice date. If it finds one, then it flags the exported invoice as duplicate and it deletes that invoice. So if you want to use it, simply turn it on. Exported status to zero, we can export to either drafts. This is highly recommended, or waiting approval or approved. Now, if you're using the approval screen to make sure account code tracking, everything is correct, then you can simply change this to approved, and then we will export your invoices into your Xero in waiting for payment category, in approved category. Next brings me to approvals and expenses. Now we have already spoken about how to turn it on, how to turn it off, the levels you want. I will speak about the list of users and approvals. Now, as you can see, you see quite a few users here already. Max expense claim, Tony, and then there is some bank account number here. What are these? So this is the section where you configure your spend money transactions and employee expense claims. Now, I'm not going to dive in much detail for spend money transactions and expense claims because we already have a special webinar we have done on that. I will show you. I'll show you where you can find that. So you just go on to YouTube. You find EzzyBills. We will be either first or second, and then once you go into our page, you will be able to see quite a few videos. It's in the recent videos. You can see the second one, process supplier invoices and spend money. You can just click on it. It's a detailed webinar which will show you how you can configure spend money transactions, employee expense claims in Xero and QuickBooks. It's the same settings. So do visit our YouTube channel. We have quite a few. We have uploaded quite a few content videos there. You might find that some setting that you're looking for or some configuration that you're looking for, it's already there and you can just do it yourself. Okay, I think that that concludes today's session. We'll just one little thing left. The last thing is advanced options where you can turn on the item invoices setting. You can use tracking keywords to track. If you're using tracking, you can use keywords. You can, if there is a column on your invoice which you want to use as tracking, you can just type the column header here and it will track the column. We'll use that keywords to you use your tracking. You can also set default tracking, but this, if you set it, it will be used for all your invoices. So it's recommended not to set unless you want one default for all your invoices. Um, Sale invoices, EzzyBills also supports accounts receivables. You will sale invoices. If you want to just process sale invoices, you can turn this setting on, and then we will export everything that you upload on your EzzyBills account as sale invoices and not as supplier invoices. And then we have PO matching. If you want to use this, I highly recommend you to go to our user guides and then find PO matching here and then try and do some testing. All right, so that concludes our session today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining.